Welcome to another episode of Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. Today we're going to talk about Dillian Whyte versus Moses Itauma and Wilder when we come right back. What's up, everybody? Happy to have everybody here at Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. Big shout outs to Miss Jab Queen in the house. What's going on? Shout outs to Cam J. We were getting it in earlier on YouTube at the round table with Cam J, Miss Jab Queen, and a few other people on the boxing panel. And it was very good as always. I appreciate Cam J. I appreciate Miss Jab Queen. I do my best to tune in to their channels. So make sure if you see them in the comment section, check them out. They got some really fire content on YouTube and other platforms you can follow on their IG, on the FB and other platforms of that nature. So I'm glad to have everybody here, and I'm gonna just go ahead and break the ground with a little bit of news I get all my news from a very valid source. I don't like to just say things just to say things. So I'm gonna read it word for word right here. Munguia's Jaime Munguia B sample comes back positive for banned substance. Former junior middleweight title holder Jaime Munguia could face disciplinary action after his B sample came back positive for a banned substance following his May 4th unanimous decision victory over Bruno Soros. Munguia could see the win overturned to a no contest and might face a suspension ranging from 6 months to 1 year. Munguia's team maintained his innocence in a statement Tuesday, which confirmed his test returned positive for exogenous testosterone. We want to reiterate that this outcome does not change our position. Jaime did not knowingly or intentionally ingest any banned substance, the team said in their statement. We remain steadfast in the belief that this result was caused by contamination, and we are continuing to take every possible step to identify the source. Jaime remains unwavering in his commitment to clean competition, and we will work to continue closely with experts and relevant authorities to reach full clarity. After the initial positive test, Munguia, 45-2, which 35 are KOs, said the findings were a complete surprise and formally requested that the B sample be tested. He suggested he would be open to undergo any retroactive, current, or future testing to demonstrate that I have always been a clean athlete. Now that the findings are consistent with the A sample, Munguia will await disciplinary action from the British Boxing Board of Control. I have spent my entire career and life doing things the right way, and this is no exception, Munguia said in his statement. I love boxing. I am the first one who wants to clear everything up because boxing is my life. I can't wait to get back in the ring. We are going to prove that we never disrespected the sport, my opponents, or misled the fans. Munguia's victory over Soros came in a rematch of their December bout, which Soros won by knockout. So like some people before, Jaime Munguia in a PED situation. You had Ryan Garcia in his hot water. Robert Helenius, after he fought AJ Anthony Joshua, there was a PED situation with him as well. So we'll just see what happens with this Munguia case as things start to unfold. Also, I want to talk about Turkey Alishake offers a bonus if Canelo or Crawford wins by knockout. There will already be a lot on the line when Canelo Alvarez puts his undisputed super middleweight championship up against Terence Bud Crawford on September 13th in Las Vegas. But to add additional incentive, Turkey Alishake, chairman of the General Entertainment Authority and president of the Saudi Boxing Federation, announces there will be a bonus for a knockout. The announcement came during the kickoff presser for Alvarez Crawford in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Friday. Alishake has been steadfast in putting an end to the Tom and Jerry, quote unquote, where one fighter is running around the ring and another fighter is chasing him. To counter this, he has installed a knockout bonus that will be implemented in future fights he promotes, starting with Alvarez versus Crawford. We will not have Tom and Jerry fights anymore, Alishake said. We will have, in this fight and our next fights, a bonus for a KO. Alishake did not specify how much the bonus would be or whether it would be installed for the undercard. The implementation mirrors what his promoting partner, UFC CEO Dana White, uses in the UFC with performance bonuses. As for the fighters, Alvarez and Crawford were cordial, yet stern in their confidence for the upcoming fight, which will air on Netflix. However, I got to fight. I'm going to win, said Bud Crawford. 41 wins, 0 losses, 31 by which are by KO. I'm not going to let someone else tell me how to fight when I've been fighting, when I've been doing that my whole life. I won't be running. I can tell you that, but I will be doing a lot of touching. So that being said, Bud Crawford grew on me for sure. I like Bud Crawford, very, very talented. He has a lot of intangibles, a lot of wittiness about himself. His ring IQ, his ring generalship is very much on par. It's top level. Bud Crawford is a very, very good fighter. And I feel like, I think I touched on this last time. I feel like Canelo, we know he's a legend or whatnot, but I think we've seen the best of him. I think we've seen the best of what he has to offer, the best of what he can dish out. Canelo will go down as a Hall of Famer or whatnot, but I think his time has come, and I think Bud could be the one. I don't think he's going to knock him out, but I think that Bud could win by a unanimous decision. Bud is crafty and smart enough. You know, he's moving around, so the fact that he has the faster feet is going to be, I think, a plus on his side. I'll give credit to Canelo because he's never been dropped, so that's a testament to how good his chin is. He's a 168-pound fighter or whatnot. But, like I said, Bud Crawford, he's a switch hitter. I think he's going to use that. He's going to implement the switch hitting stance, his faster feet, his faster hands, and he's going to keep making Canelo reset. Canelo will have the pressure on him to cut off the ring. And that's no easy feat with a person like Bud Crawford, because Bud Crawford is a very special fighter. He's not just your average fighter, or you know what I mean? He's like a plus level fighter. So it's going to be real issues with Canelo trying to cut off the ring and trying to contain Bud Crawford. So I want to know y'all opinion though in the chat. What y'all feel like your predictions with Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. I got Bud by unanimous decision. Initially, at first I had my first thoughts were Canelo's going to win the fight. But now I'm kind of going back and forth because like I said, I feel like the best of Canelo Alvarez we have seen in the past. The Triple G, the first two fights. You know, we've seen like remnants of that when he fought Caleb Plant. But you saw Canelo starting kind of later in the fight where he comes on kind of strong. Like he's reserving certain levels of energy or whatever. I think Bud being consistent from round 1 to 10 rounds, 12 rounds, however many rounds it is, he's going to be very consistent and he's going to drain the energy of Canelo because Canelo's going to be trying to cut off the ring, trying to, you know, put pressure on Bud Crawford. And I think Bud, in a lot of different spurts, there are going to be times he's going to have to engage. But he's not just careless. He's not reckless. Bud is very responsible defensively and offensively. And I think he's going to set just a perfect pace. And he will know when to turn up. If he gets Canelo hurt, it's all bad because he's not going to do like Shakur Stevenson, hurt Canelo and back off. If he hurts Canelo, Bud will try to close the show. But if that is to happen by some far stretch, I think it's going to be later in that fight, like later rounds, like the championship rounds. That's just my opinion on that. So let me know what y'all think in the chat. I appreciate you, Cam J. Much love, family. Much love. You said you're edging Canelo, Cam J. That's what's up. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm going to be switching up probably week to week up until the fight happens. Then I'll maybe have a final prediction to say, okay, I'm going to stick with Bud. I'm going with Bud. That's what it is in my prediction, my personal prediction. But right now, bro, I'm back and forth. Because, like I said, initially, I said Canelo. But then I see all the things that Bud can do. He can do so much more. Miss Jab Queen, you said, I got Canelo, but I could be. I'm trying to read behind the emoji. I'm sorry. Let me see. Okay, you said you got Canelo, but I could be wrong. Last night card don't give me much hope. Yeah, I hear that, Miss Jab Queen. I mean, just seeing the fight with William Skull or whatever, I felt like, yeah, Skull was trying to survive. It was obvious, but it was the responsibility of Canelo to cut off the ring. You know, like somebody told me, it's like cutting off the ring is a lost art. Why are these guys like Canelo just there to pick up a check? Because you could tell Canelo didn't want to invest that energy to chase after Skull. He wasn't trying to cut off the ring. He was just doing enough, you know, just enough to win the fight. Canelo did. He didn't try to like actually get a stoppage. He was just like, if I hit this guy enough, I can see this guy respects my power. And he was there just to get that big payday. Cam J, you said if it's a close fight and goes to a decision, Turkey definitely giving Canelo the nod with his 2 fights left on his deal. That's hilarious, but that's true, man. I feel like that too, man. I feel like you know how it is with Canelo, man. He got him sold. It's like I feel like they're gonna always give it to Canelo because of who he is. You know what I mean? But I think Bud's gonna turn up. I think he's gonna edge it with the like 8 rounds. I think he can win. He can clinch 8 rounds if he's smart. And I think Bud has all the skills, all the all around skills to do that. Rich Talmadge. Canelo needs a Gamboa situation. Canelo needs to hit him like Gamboa did in the first. You said only chance Canelo has. Canelo has a better. Canelo has a better finisher than Gamboa. Cam J, you said Turkey got to keep Canelo satisfaction. Man, if there is any small margin of a chance that Bud can stop Canelo, he's going to take it. I mean, like we talked about earlier, man, you can't leave it in the judge's hands. Just like we saw with Griffin. Right at the end, he gets laid out in the 10th round. So if Bud Crawford can get Canelo hurt, he's not going to hesitate to press on that gas. He gonna go all in, man, because you can't mess around and give your op any chance of recovery or any chance of getting to that scorecard. And they're fighting in Vegas, so yeah, you definitely need to turn up. Bud Crawford needs to turn up for sure. We're gonna also talk about the Deontay Wilder return fight with Herndon here shortly. So let me see what we got here. Oh, and more news I would like to share with you, y'all. This is from the WBC. Clarissa Shields launches youth program. It's called Follow Your Dreams ahead of her fight against Lonnie Daniels. Before stepping into the ring to compete for the undisputed heavyweight world championship, Clarissa Shields proves once again that her impact goes far beyond boxing. The undefeated champion announced the launch of the Follow Your Dreams program, emotionally community initiative in partnership with King Moore, a child actor, social media phenomenon, and youth motivator who is just 9 years old. The project is presented by SMT Financial Partners and will culminate on Fight Night, when 1,000 local children will attend the bout at Little Caesars Arena free of charge as a part of an unforgettable experience. The evening will include a powerful tribute, Follow Your Dreams, a message of hope, resilience, and faith in the future. Moore will perform his song of the same name live in front of Eliminated Stadium, surrounded by invited children in a tribute to seek to inspire an entire generation. I know what it's like to grow up with big dreams and face big challenges, Shield said. That's why it meant so much for me to partner with King Moore and SMT to show the youth of Detroit, Michigan, y'all, anything is possible. I want all the young people in the arena to feel recognized, supported, and inspired to pursue their dreams, just as I did, Shields said. Shields, who overcame a childhood marked by poverty in Michigan, remains committed to the youth development in her community. Follow Your Dreams has benefited iconic Detroit programs such as the Children Boxing Center, Crunk and Manuel Stewart Champions of Tomorrow, the Police and Fire Youth Program, the Motor City Wolverines, the Arthur Eddy Academy, and various local school and organizations. Moore said children are 50% of population, but 100% of the future. I want those kids, those 1,000 kids at Little Caesars Arena, to know that if they pursue their dreams, nothing is impossible. SMT CEO DJ Self concluded. When a child sees a champion, they believe they can be one. I am proud of the message these two champions are sending to our children. So that's what Clarissa got going on, and that's what's good in the hood. So speaking of Clarissa Shields, y'all, what do y'all feel about her fight upcoming with Lonnie Daniels? Clarissa Shields and Lonnie Daniels. Cam J, you said Bud definitely need a stoppage to win or pitch a shutout. Oh man, you keeping it real right there, brother. Definitely, man. Definitely. So big shout outs to Clarissa Shields of the Midwest, about 5 hours north out of Flint, Michigan, who's also showing a lot of love to the city of Detroit, 4 hours north of Cincinnati, Ohio. So shout outs to the city of Detroit. Big shout outs to my family in Detroit, Lackey and Frierson family. And rest in peace to my cousin Larry Chandler of Detroit, Michigan. I miss you, Cuzzo. I wish I would have saw you at the last family reunion, but I understood that just God had other plans, man. Man. So um so man, um that kind of just made me think about Cuzzo. All right, y'all. So we seeing heavy circulation, and I know Cam J touched on that. The potential fight with Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. What y'all feel about that? Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. Absolutely, Cam J. Salute to Clarissa Shields for sure. I think she's going to put on a masterclass against Lonnie Daniels. It's just unfortunate the makeup of Clarissa Shields. You know, like she said, she's thick boned. She carries weight to where she's like a heavyweight now, and a lot of the other ladies like Daniel Dubois' sister, Carolyn Dubois, uh, the one that was cool with Clarissa and they fell out, Alicia Baumgartner. Them ladies are too small for Clarissa Shields. So unfortunately, Clarissa just in a situation where she has to fight who they put in front of her. You know, it's really by no fault of her own doing. It's just that the competition level is only at a certain level when it comes to Clarissa Shields. Um, and while I'm speaking about Clarissa Shields, shout out to Lisa Baumgartner, Carolyn Dubois, all the female boxers, Amanda Serrano, and even Holly Holmes, who just won a recent fight here recently. All right, so over this weekend, y'all, there was quite a couple of good fights on. I was able to see Robert Ledesma versus Nico Hernandez. Uh, Robert was stopped after being dropped multiple times. Um, Now, I want to talk about the main event. Deontay Wilder, y'all. Bomb Squad. For those who know, or for those who don't follow boxing like that, the backstory a little bit. Deontay Wilder is from the down south part of here in America. For my guys in UK and overseas, Deontay Wilder's from Alabama, USA. And he was working like 2 or 3 jobs. And he has a daughter with special needs. She has spinal bifida, a rare condition. And to support her needs and hospital bills, and, you know, as we know, everything is high in this world right now. So he put aside doing 3 jobs, and I think he was into basketball or maybe football. But anyways, he went ahead and stepped into a boxing gym at like the age of 19. So by the age of 20, he became a professional boxer. Now, the thing of it is, Deontay Wilder was always what you call a limited fighter. He never had a lot of weapons. He had power. He had natural, supernatural power. But he didn't have like the footwork or the coordination of, you know, certain boxers. You know what I mean? But he had that power. And that power did carry him a long way, considering the way Shelly Finkel and the management was at the time. And I want to say when Deontay Wilder first started boxing, he was with Golden Boy for a while. And then from Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, he went over to the PBC, Al Heyman. Al Heyman is one, I call him the ghost, because Al Heyman is always back in the cut and you never see the guy. You hear his name all the time, but very rarely in the public eye do you ever see Al Heyman. And shout outs to Al Heyman. He's from Cleveland, Ohio, so big ups to Ohio, the state in which I reside. So, you know, even to this day, Al Heyman is still doing his thing over there in the with the PBC or whatever, and he's just one of them people you never really see. He's the direct opposite of Eddie Hearn, which Eddie Hearn likes to have his face all around social media in different interviews and stuff like that. He just likes to be that in your face type of promoter. Jack Dutton, you said Bud's going to get the decision. I feel the same way. I do. I feel the same way, man. Bud, he just something special, man. And I'm particularly a fan of Errol Spence. And I did a video, actually. It's on YouTube. If you go back in the beginning, like in 2023, I did a video with my cousin B Bub. Shout out to my cousin B Bub. And we talked about Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford. And we both came to our own conclusion that Errol Spence was too strong. He was going to be too strong and too big for Bud Crawford. But defying the odds, we saw what happened. Not only did Bud Crawford win, he pretty much dominated my guy. He pretty much dominated Earl Spence. So he's definitely a beast. Hey, shout out to Graham Cook, my guy over in UK. Thanks for coming through. What's going on, mate? What's going on over there in the UK, man? And what's your prediction, Graham? What is your prediction with Bud versus Canelo? What is your prediction with Clarissa Shields versus Lonnie Daniels? Please let me know in the chat. Thank you very much. You said time for bed, but gotta tune in. But gotta tune in before I sleep. I feel that, Graham. I know over there in UK, y'all like 5 hours ahead of us, so it's almost 7 o'clock here. It's probably getting close to midnight over there. You said Graham Cook, you said you're standing on your previous comment. Bud is going to cause the upset. There it is, man. I can definitely rock with that decision, my man. I can, mate, for sure. Yeah, it's 11:50. It's like 10 minutes to midnight your way, and it's like 6:50 my way. We're like 5 hours before you in the USA over here. Yep. Yes, sir. All right. So let's get back to Deontay Wilder real quick. So the main event, Wilder stopped Herndon in round six, by way of TKO, technical knockout stoppage. Uh, Now, Deontay Wilder's what, 44, I believe, 44 wins, uh, four losses, and a draw with Tyson Fury. And 43 were by way of knockout. Now, I know some people say that Wilder had ring rust, and I know he was out of the ring for a while, for like maybe a year or something like that. But in the same aspect, go run back the fight with Jamal Charlo, the bigger twin, not Jermell but Jamal. Well, when he fought Lamana, he had been out of the ring. He returned back in the ring after a layoff, but his performance was light years better than the performance of Deontay Wilder after his layoff. Um, so to me, if you're gonna make a return, run back Jermell Charlo versus Lamana, and that's how you want to make a return fight. You want to come back at that type of level. I also had a chance to look at shout out to 78 Sports or whatever. And 78 Sports made a statement that Ruiz ain't done nothing to get a Deontay Wilder shot. But then he says, what about AJ versus Ruiz? Now, why would 78 throw in the fact that Wilder's done nothing? I mean, Ruiz done nothing to get a Wilder shot, but then you say, why don't AJ go ahead and have a Ruiz trilogy? That to me is a deflection. That should be neither here nor there right now because um decisively the rematch, AJ won uh clearly, like pretty much like a shutout in the rematch. They had a different plan or whatever, but he won. So a trilogy is not that important right now because I feel like just the style of understanding how the slow feet of Ruiz is, but he has fast hands. All AJ has to do is kind of keep that jab out, move around, jab, jab. You know what I'm saying? Move around like he did in the rematch. Once you learn the style of Ruiz, if you're big enough, you have a lot enough reach or whatever, I feel like you're going to beat Andy Ruiz. And I like Ruiz, but I think he does best when you actually engage with him every second of the round. But if you move around, it's going to be a long night for Andy Ruiz. If you have good or even average foot movement. Now the other fight that my dude Cam J talked about, I watched was Christian and Billy versus Sulecki. Well, the way that ended was crazy, right? A first round knockout with a combination, a hook followed by a mean uppercut. The uppercut was so fast from Mbili, I had to watch it back in slow motion when they showed it to even see the punch happen. It was like seeing the guy here and the guy hitting the ground. I'm like, well, what happened? What happened in between for that to happen? Like, the uppercut was so fast and so vicious and so ferocious. If you didn't see it, it's only one round, y'all. Just go on YouTube, play back Mbili versus Sulecki, man, and this crazy first round knockout. Insane, y'all. Insane. For sure. Now what I did see in the short first round that happened, even though it was only one round, I want to reiterate the fact that I could see that Christian and Billy, he had a very clutch defense. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't letting his opponent getting that stuff off. He was deflecting those punches. He was catching those shots and all that, man. He had a very, very good defense for sure. Also on the zone, in the light heavyweight division, I saw the Shakur Pitters of UK versus Bradley Ray. Shakur Peters, 20 wins, 2 losses, no draws. Bradley Ray, 20 wins, 1 loss, and no draws. It was a good toe-to-toe action. Light heavyweight division. It was a good fight for sure. So if you didn't see that fight, go run it back. Plenty of toe-to-toe action in that fight. Saturday night fight on the zone, Rodriguez versus Griffin. And that's the one we talked about earlier on the round table with Cam J and Miss Jab Queen. It was a little bit of back and forth on both sides of the spectrum, but definitely the more accurate, the more precise, and the more volume was on the end of Julian Rodriguez. He was catching Griffin with the better, the more meaningful, and the cleaner shots. Now, in the 10th round, he got an amazing knockout with 5 seconds left before the fight was about to end. Like, all Griffin had to do was maybe clinch him and survive 5 more seconds. But no. He was knocked out cold with 5 seconds left in round 10 in devastating fashion. So, man, if you missed that fight, run that one back too. That's a pretty good fight that happened over this weekend. We also have oh, and then something I came across that I'm pretty sure you might have seen was Brian Norman Jr. His claims, he's making all these different claims on different social media and podcasts and things like that. Well, Brian Norman Jr. basically is trying to say, what he's trying to allude to is that Jaron Boots Ennis moved up in weight from 147 to 154 as a means to duck him. So he's pretty much saying, hey, this man went to a whole nother division to run for me. But I look at it in a different light. I want to know y'all opinion. So Boots Ennis supposedly is ducking Brian Norman Jr. to go to 154. And to me, 154 is not going to be an easy division for Boots Ennis. There's some decent fighters at 154, so I don't see to where he's going to be ducking Brian Norman to jump from one skillet to jump into another skillet. If you know what I'm saying, like both skillets going to be hot. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a diversion tactic. I don't think it's a duck move. I just think that that's something Boots always wanted to do, and the size of Boots, it was time for him to move up and wait a little bit, And I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do at 154. And shout outs to Jab Queen again, because earlier, what she was saying that she felt like Eddie Hearn would protect Conor Benn. Conor Benn's naturally a 154-pound fighter, so many people don't feel that Conor Benn would ever step in the ring with Boots Ennis, because they're probably not going to allow that to happen. But if by some miracle, fingers crossed, that does happen, hey, I'm all for that. Conor Benn versus Boots Ennis. I'm down for that one. Let's also talk about Floyd Schofield, Kid Austin, aka Kid Austin. Kid Austin versus Tevin Farmer. Kid Austin wrecks Tevin Farmer in a fashion that Zepeda didn't do in 20 rounds against him. So the 20 rounds that Zepeda had with Tevin Farmer, it was not like what we saw this weekend with Kid Austin. Kid Austin went out there, y'all, on madness. He went out there with a point to prove. He wasn't half-stepping. He was on his pivot, for sure. He was on his pivot, y'all. Kid Austin meant business. A man of few words himself. Normally, if you hear anything out of team Schofield, it's his pops. Pop Schofield, like I said earlier, he's like the Flavor Flav for his son. He's going to amp it up and hype it up. So it's all good. Yeah, for sure. Like you said, Graham, the ref waved it off. He was gassed out, man. Wilder didn't really do anything significant. I agree, Graham. It is what it is, man. I think Wilder could either fight somebody like Ngannou, Francis Ngannou, or see how Dillian Whyte looks when he fights Moses Itauma. If Dillian Whyte doesn't look too dangerous, maybe they'll let him and Wilder finally get their fight on. That should have happened a while ago. Graham, you said no one wants to take Ruiz. Fans criticize AJ for being beat in the first. Yeah, man, that's what they did, man. They kind of ridiculed they ridicule AJ based on that or whatever, man. But when you do the background check on Andy Ruiz, you can really see how dangerous he is. Not only does he have a good chin and good recovery, his amateur pedigree speaks for itself. He had like over 100 and something amateur fights. He even sparred with Evander Holyfield. You know, the legend Holyfield sparred with Andy Ruiz, man. And he made an interview saying that, man, I feel like Andy Ruiz is gonna be trouble for these guys, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing. He said Andy Ruiz is gonna be a issue for these boxers of today. He said you look at the man, you don't think he can do what he can do. But his skill, his talent, and his perseverance is unmatched. Oh, for sure, man. He's no slouch, for sure, man. You're right. Ruiz is dangerous. That's why they call him the destroyer. His issue is he's just never consistent. At the time he upsetted AJ, he had just came off that TKO stoppage of Dimitrenko. When he stopped Dimitrenko, he was already fresh and he went straight in there, ready for AJ. And you know that Andy Ruiz prefers taller fighters because he said he grew up as a kid fighting taller dudes. So that wasn't really a big transition for him. It was just like a normal thing for him. You said Graham Cook. Personally, Wilder gets beat by any top 10. Yeah, man. It ain't gonna look. It won't look too pretty if they don't match up Wilder with the right opponent right now. Now some people attribute it to ring rust, but I just see. I don't see him. I don't foresee him. Like you said, beating anybody top 10. But I think they need to slowly feed him, baby step him again. Like I said, you just beat Herndon in 7 rounds. Put him in there with Francis Ngannou, since Tyson Fury fought Ngannou. AJ fought Ngannou. Let's see how Wilder looks versus Ngannou. And if he can look good against Ngannou, we can say, okay, maybe he's ready for a Dillian Whyte or somebody. And if he can pass that, then go ahead and make AJ fight happen in 2026. But if he doesn't look good in his next fight or two, I'll say just let him get a couple of small bags and retire, man. Because I think even Dave Allen would be a problem for Deontay Wilder right now, in my opinion. I feel like Dave Allen will give Deontay Wilder some fits right now. So let me know, man. Let me know what you think about the Clarissa Shields and Lonnie Daniels prediction. You already told me about Bud or whatever. Then you got Keyshawn Davis, who's going to be moving up in weight. I believe he's moving up to 140, I believe. So then, so is Frank Martin. So that Frank Martin versus Keyshawn Davis, that's going to be a good fight when that eventually happens. You know, top rank in PBC, they work together pretty good. So I think that they can make Keyshawn Davis versus Frank Martin fairly easy to make that fight happen. Graham, you said he's never had the skill. He struggled many times with really low ranking fighters. He's lucky he had that right hand. Oh, well, let me touch on that then. Because rewinding back to what I was saying earlier, yeah, Wilder definitely has a right hand missile. But think about it this way. Let's just play a hypothetical thing. Say Wilder's power was like the power of Usyk, which is not raw crazy power. It's what you call average power, but he can knock you out with accumulation. So say Wilder had the power of Usyk. There's no way Wilder would have the record he had right now if he had the punching power of Usyk, because he doesn't have any skills. Usyk can do what he does and not necessarily need the punch power like Wilder, because he has all the other skills that a true boxer and technician has. If Wilder just had average punch power, he would be in trouble, because most of the times he was saved in fights, it was because he had the punch power. And it was like a get out of jail free card, kind of like Monopoly. You know, you got a jail free card or whatever. That's Deontay Wilder's right hand. It was his saving grace in majority of his wins. Look at the Luis Ortiz fight. Wilder lost every round from round 1 to round 6. And then in round 7, he finally upped his right hand and went straight down the pipe and knocked out Ortiz with a single punch. Think if he didn't have that punch power, if he just had average punch power, there's no way he could have stopped Ortiz. So that just goes back to saying that sometimes you need to learn other fundamentals and some plan Bs other than just using your power. Not saying don't use the gift that you have, but learn some other things to build on top of what you have. Absolutely, Graham, absolutely, mate. And I just wish, and I think it's bad management. I want to touch on something I talked about earlier. I feel like the Vlad Klitschko versus Deontay Wilder, it should have happened, because that's the only way you're gonna know how good a fighter is you're gonna have to eventually put him in there with a live dog. Vlad was a live dog. There's no reason that Deontay Wilder was sparring Vlad Klitschko. And then you had rest in peace Emmanuel Stewart. He talked about Wilder, Fury, and Klitschko. So I just don't understand why Shelly Finkel didn't let Wilder provide or prove his greatness at the time for Wilder to fight Vlad Klitschko. It's like y'all were stunting his growth. Another fight that Wilder should have had that they let go by. And this guy is just, he's pretty good, but I wouldn't say he would be a crazy threat. But Charles Martin, there's no reason why Wilder didn't fight Prince Charles Martin. Povetkin. Povetkin's another guy I felt like Wilder should have fought to really see his level. But, here and there they would throw in like he would fight Luis Ortiz, but Luis Ortiz was past his best. I felt like a prime Luis Ortiz would have probably beat Wilder if he was like the age of 32 or 34. But Luis Ortiz was like 39 when he did fight Wilder and had him on Bambi legs. Also, y'all, if you're in the chat, make sure you hit the thumbs up, please. Yeah, man. You said Graham, because he knew the rest of us, he would have had his career ended. He'd have just been another flash in the pan champ, lost the belt, and never became champion again. So, what do you feel about Graham? Let me ask you this, man. Let's talk about a little something a little different. What about upcoming fight with William Zepeda versus Shakur Stevenson? What do you feel about that? Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. How do you see that going down? Because I feel like this is going to be a perfect test for Shakur Stevenson. Zepeda is going to be the perfect style matchup. Because even Shakur is saying in different interviews and social media and stuff, he's saying that I'm going to actually have to go out here and fight. And you don't really hear Shakur talk like that. We know he's such a technical boxer. He's going to move around the ring. He's going to hit and not get hit or whatever. But he knows fighting William Zepeda, somebody who's like, you consider him kind of like a pressure fighter or a swarmer. This man going to be swarming at him. He's going to be trying to cut off the ring. So, hey, man, I think it's going to be some action. It's going to be some action. I think we might see the best, or that William Zepeda is going to bring out the best, the best part of Shakur Stevenson. I think he's going to make Shakur pull all his tools out of his bag, and he's going to just, be out there, and we're going to see a different Shakur Stevenson. So I'm hoping that's what it is, man. Sammy 93, welcome. Make sure you please hit the thumbs up button, please. Sammy 93, you said I will see Wilder versus Miller. Well, the thing about that, Sammy 93, is that Big Baby Miller, they're supposed to be setting up a match with Big Baby Miller versus Big Baby Anderson. So right now, him and Miller, it may eventually happen, but I know Wilder can't sit around and he can't afford to get ring rust sitting on the sideline right now. He just came off a win, a TKO win that wasn't the best performance. So Wilder needs to fight somebody in the next couple months. You want to keep that fire hot when you're out here in an active boxer. Keep that fire hot. So Big Baby Miller and Big Baby Anderson is going to be the fight we're going to probably see next. Now, maybe the winner of that, or the loser, I don't know, but Wilder can maybe fight one of those guys after they fight each other. And then, let's talk about Joseph Parker right now, because I really respect him being a throwback fighter, coming off all those wins. beating Deontay Wilder, beating Zilly Zhang. Um, so what do y'all think about Joseph Parker? Um, we know that Daniel Dubois and Usyk fight in about 3 weeks in July. So hopefully Joseph Parker gets his shot at the winner. And hopefully Usyk doesn't retire. At least if Usyk beats Dubois, I hope Usyk will at least give a payday and a fight to Joseph Parker, because Joseph Parker deserves it. You know, for him to come back like he's come back, uh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Joseph Parker is on form right now, and I like to see those kind of guys that are throwback fighters, and I like to see them on a winning streak. So I would love for Joseph Parker to get his just due right now. You know, shout outs to Joseph Parker. Man, he been doing his thing. Yeah, Graham, he's definitely been screwed over, man. Parker has, yeah, for sure. Uh, Sammy 93. What you feel about Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda? What do you think about that fight? And then I want to talk about pretty much one more little topic on here before we end the night. Um, the first fight with Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. I want to know your opinion, Sammy 93. Graham, it was a draw, but what do y'all feel? Do you feel that that fight should have been a draw with Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr.? Should it have been declared a draw? Of course, after the fight, uh, Lamont Roach Jr. was saying he won the fight, and a few other podcasts or people doing interviews where they were siding with Lamont Roach, saying that he won the fight. So I want to know what y'all think. Now, the good thing is, that's what I like about the controversial fights like that, is they get to run it back. Lamont Roach Jr. versus Tank 2, to run that back is going to be great. Just like the fact that Usyk and Dubois is going to run it back. That's going to be awesome. So let me know, Graham. I know you'll be going to sleep soon, but if you can, what do you think about Usyk versus Dubois 2, the rematch? Your prediction on what's going to happen? And Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. Let me know what you thought about that fight. Because we got a few more minutes left, y'all. So I will stick around for a quick second to read your comments before closing this show out. And I appreciate everybody that was tuning in tonight. Oh, and I appreciate the salute to Jeff Mayweather of the Mayweather family. He was inducted into the Ohio Boxing Hall of Fame, presented by the legend, none other than Nate Tubbs. So big shout outs to Nate Tubbs again. And big shout outs to Jeff Mayweather and everybody else who was inducted in Cincinnati for the Ohio Boxing Hall of Fame. Shout out to Drew, to Andrew Williams as well. For us who used to parlay at Club Ritz back in the day, shout outs to Big Drew. All right. All right. And if you're free July, let me try to get a specific date, because there's going to be a local event here in Cincinnati in downtown. So big shout outs to Stefan Pryor for the invite. And to my surprise, my first cousin, who's a truck driver, I think a box truck driver, he told me he was going to be at this event. So I'm like, wow, small world that he's connected with sponsors or something like that, to where they're going to be at the event that that Stefan Pryor is doing here, the Stop the Violence event at Ezra Charles Park, Cincinnati. That's going to be in July. So make sure you have your coolers with water or whatever you have, vitamin water, Gatorade, but it's going to be really hot in mid-July, so make sure you're hydrated, and maybe even have a tent out there if you come down to this event. Sounds like it's going to be a very, very nice event. So big shout outs again to Stefan Pryor of Cincinnati, Ohio, USA. He's doing a lot in the community, and I think he's running for council, if I'm not mistaken. So good luck on all your endeavors, Mr. Pryor. And hopefully you like that shirt, man. That Ringwalk Boxing Podcast shirt. Speaking of that, y'all, I got merch, hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and things like that. So if you go to the comment section on YouTube, description area, you'll see where you can go to the online store, Ringwalk Boxing Podcast merch. And we have an assortment of different things and a variety of gear for you to wear. And like I said, if your region is a cooler climate, we got the hoodies. You know, we got stuff like that. If you're in a part of the world where it's cooler year round, you want to get you a nice hoodie to be nice and keep you nice and warm. All right, y'all. So with no further ado, I believe we're going to be wrapping up this segment here at Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. Again, shout outs to everybody who was in the chat. Graham over in UK, Sammy for the first time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Big shout outs to Sammy 93. Shout outs to Miss Jab Queen, and big shout outs to Cam J Network for following through, and to my bro JC. And much love to the city of Cincinnati in the state of Ohio over here in the United States of America. Everyone have a good, safe week, and hopefully you have a good upcoming week this week. And if you're here in Cincinnati and other areas, make sure y'all guys stay hydrated, because I know if it's hot like that here in Cincinnati, New York, the East Coast, of course, the West Coast, and down south, they normally stay hotter in more seasons than us. Just make sure you're hydrated, man. That's the most important thing you can do right now. Like I said, vitamin water. Try to stay away from all the sugar right now. Beer is not recommended in this type of heat right now, y'all. Water, coconut water, thing that's going to quench your thirst. And if you can, do tea without sugar. You know what I'm saying? But just take care of yourself and your vessel, which is our body. And just take care of yourself, man. Also, I want to kind of talk a little bit before I close this, just about, my health and the journey I've been going through, and just maybe you're going through something similar to the men. Make sure, it's very important, do not neglect your health. I'm kind of going through some situations right now, and I feel like it was due to my own fault, but you live and you learn in life, right? It was about 15 years. For a 15-year span, I didn't see a primary care doctor for 15 years. So all that while, there was probably different things manifesting within my body or whatever. I didn't even know what was going on because I wasn't getting regular checkups. So I want y'all to learn from my mistake. Make sure even if you go see a doctor annually or every 6 months, just make sure you do it on a consistent regimen. Like I said, I didn't go to a doctor for 15 years because unless I was in extreme pain, I wouldn't go. Now, I did live in Columbus, Ohio for a while, and I had off my shoulder, I had like a tumor looking thing that was about this far off my left shoulder back here. And it didn't cause me any pain. And because it didn't cause me any pain, I just looked at it like, oh, well, just kind of like, I dismissed it pretty much. So one day, for whatever reason, I tell my friend, shout out to Phil up in Columbus, I tell him about it. I said, man, I got this thing that's been off my shoulder about this long. He said, man, you don't want to play with that, man. What if that's cancerous? What if that's, this, that, and the other? Then I'm thinking like, oh, man, that ain't what I want to hear, So I went ahead and went to the Columbus Hospital downtown. They checked it. They did a surgery and they cut it off and ran a test on it, and it came back non-cancerous. I'm saying that to say it could be the smallest thing like that sometimes, and us as men, whether it's our pride or just the fact that we just hate being at doctors, because nobody wants to be at a doctor. Nobody wants to be in a hospital. But just for the sake of longevity and things that could go awry, I would say always make sure the smallest little thing, don't overlook it, because that could be your body telling you and helping you catch something before it gets before it spreads like a wildfire, pretty much. If it's something small that they can fix and nip it in the bud, let the doctors do their job. That's why they're here. And I had to learn that lesson myself, like I said, because I neglected myself for 15 years. And I had all these little issues going on. I probably could have fixed it 14 years ago. And now I'm dealing with it right now. In fact, I go to the doctor this week, at the end of this week, this Friday. So shout outs to all the doctors that are making this world a better place for people to be healthy. Make sure y'all get those screenings. Women, the breast cancer, all that kind of stuff. Make sure y'all get y'all screenings and get your levels checked on different things or whatever. Just make sure everything is running on all cylinders. Your vitamins are right. Your B12 or whatever. All these different things. And you make sure your sodium ain't too high and all that kind of stuff, because you don't want to be stroking out or none of that. All right, so we'll follow up on that on the next segment, but I just wanted to make sure I share that with y'all. So, oh, Jack Queen, I appreciate you. Yeah, true. Yeah, we just got to take care of ourselves, Queen, for sure. So I hope you have a blessed night, and thanks for coming here at Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. I definitely try to roll out the red carpet for you. And we'll be back here next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA time. Once again, like I say, shout outs to my guys over there in the UK or over in Africa and Tony Lawrence in Belgium. Shout outs to you. And y'all have a safe night. And I'll catch y'all in the next round.